Chivalry is a load of crap. Hey guys, it's Spike here. This is a subject that I don't expect many of y'all to agree with me on. Chivalry. And I say it's a load of crap. But here's why. I know I'm going to get a lot of haters on this. And I know not many people, like I said, are going to agree with me on this. But I think hopefully by the end of the video, you'll understand my perspective as why I think chivalry is a load of crap. Now, first of all, let's talk about the definition of chivalry, or what it means in modern language. Let's look at the history of chivalry with the knights. The idea of, some would say, oh, well, it's like courtly love, fighting for the woman, and like basically what they would do is they would fight for a woman that's a noble. Now, a lot of people may misinterpret this as like respect for all women, but in the Middle Ages, it wasn't that. It was only respect for noble women and putting noble women on a pedestal, but regular women got no respect. So, I mean, you don't need to, don't misinterpret that to say that all women were being respected by these knights, because they weren't. Now, it was only the nobles. Noble women, the, queen, of course, or whatever it is. So, yeah. And basically they would fight for them, and it was just sort of like a code of honor involving women. But in the more modern sense, it is kind of similar. We think of it as things like opening a door for a woman, or I guess the whole not hitting girls. I don't know if that's necessarily chivalry, as much as it is to some people almost common sense, but I guess it's a portion of it. Not hitting girls. What else? Just like, letting the chair out for a woman. Just kind of like common formal gestures, kind of like not wearing a hat if you're a guy, like inside, stuff like that. I really consider it to be all of like our kind of traditional mannerisms of that sort. But I'm speaking mostly of the gender-related ones, the kind of putting women on that pedestal, opening doors, always doing that stuff. And I have a real problem with that, personally. And some say, oh, well, it's just being polite. How could you have a problem with being polite, But that's not exactly it. One major problem is that it's expected. The fact that it should be expected that a guy would open a door for a girl, it's kind of messed up. I mean, it's like you're considered rude if you don't open a door. It's like, well, it takes a second to open a door, but still. It shouldn't be expected because of your gender role, or putting a role with a gender, that you should do something like that. See, I have a real problem with giving people a role because of their gender, and I hear it all. Women have it harder. I get it, okay? When it comes to biology, when it comes to the history, women do have it harder. But that's not my fault. I feel the same way about race. That I believe in treating everybody equally. I believe in equality in a pure sense. And maybe they do have it harder. And I want to be understanding to that. But I think we should do these things on an individual basis. Do you know what I'm saying? It shouldn't be based on gender. It's trying to put a generalization on something that should be done on an individual basis. When you don't know somebody, period, I think you should be polite, not necessarily formal, but just, be nice to them, be polite to them, kind of make them comfortable. But does gender have to be any part of this? Does gender have to play a role in this? Does it? And essentially, so it's like, why should gender have any part in being polite? And here's the thing. I'm just as willing to open a door for a woman as any other man, pull out a chair for a woman as any other man, and I'm just as disgusted by beating women as any other man. But, let's take a look at these statements that are commonly said. Open a door for a woman. That, while a noble cause, is not, by opening a door for a woman, then implying that you shouldn't do it for a man. Not saying that it does, but saying that it's more important to do it for women than men. And some people think it is. But shouldn't we not have that attitude? I mean, and if you think about it, if you're doing it just because they're a woman, you have to wonder about the true intentions to it, as to whether you're trying to woo them, not necessarily, but whether you're trying to, yeah. It's like, I don't mean to be one of those "what about me" people, but it's kind of like the respect is almost going one way, and or like not saying that that it's like women disrespecting the men, but as in the women don't have to show any respect to the men; they just expect it. And this is I'm making a generalization here. I'm not saying all women are like that. I'm saying that traditionally that's how it's supposed to be almost. That women are supposed to expect to be treated this way. That they're not supposed to be like. I think women should be grateful when a guy opens a door for them. And I think a guy should. And this is another problem. Guys aren't grateful when a guy opens a door for him. Like a guy will open a door and they'll just be like, "Yeah," and just walk through. But like, yeah, and then they'll open a door for a woman. It's like, "Oh, thank you." You know, that's the reason I'm somewhat hesitant sometimes to open a door for a guy is because they'll like be like, "Oh, you're a guy. You don't need to be opening a door, and I don't need to be polite to you." It's like, well, I'm just trying to be polite. I'll open a door for anybody. So it's like kind of like one of those things. It's like, well, shouldn't we be opening a door for anybody? Shouldn't we be doing these polite actions because of the individual person? Because we're trying to be polite, not based on something like gender? Let's look at something a little bit more severe, negative, etc. Almost. Don't hit girls. If I were to disagree with this, if I said that I disagreed with the statement, "Don't hit girls," you would probably think I was a sick, abusive jerk, and that I belong in jail, etc. But just hear me out. When we say, "Don't hit girls" to guys, "Don't hit girls," are we not implying that it is then okay to be violent towards men? Are we not implying that violence towards men is then acceptable? And yes, I understand it. Oh, you can roughhouse more with men, blah, blah, blah. But that's really what it was in the old days, is violence towards other men was okay. And personally, I think when it comes to things like roughhousing and hitting, I would never hit somebody in a less than joking manner. Or unless they tried to attack my girlfriend, in which case they're going down. They try to do any of that, disrespect my girl, they're going down. See, I'm a nice guy. Yeah, but like, yeah, I don't fight. I don't believe in hitting people except for in a joking way. I like wrestling. Sorry. So yeah. I mean, it's different with the individual. So, I mean, that's why I think chivalry is stupid, because polite actions should not be based on something like gender. They should be based on just being polite, just trying to be kind to people, just trying to look out for anybody. And I think the implications of chivalry, of saying that, do this for a woman, also, yeah, the implications are it's less important to do this for a man. And a lot of people feel it is less important to do it for a man. And honestly, I think we need to get past that attitude. It's the same way with race, like I said. We need to get past the attitude of a level of more importance, holding one type of person over another, and just get to where we can always be trying to make other people feel good. Just in general, regardless of who they are, just always trying to make other people feel good, period. And I don't think something like chivalry helps it. I think it actually prevents people from making other people feel good in general. Not preventing, but it kind of detracts people from the bigger picture of, hey, respect everybody, not just women. We should be respecting everybody. So, I want to hear your thoughts. That's just my opinion. I don't like the tradition of it. I think we should move past it. But that's just my feelings. Leave a video response. Leave a comment. Favorite if you love it. Subscribe. Rate it.